Hello, I'm John Ashton. I'm a co-founder of E3G, and I'm also these days a kind of itinerant pontificator. And I'm here because I'm European, and I'm proud to be European. I'm British, and I'm proud to be British. I'm English, and I'm proud to be English. And I see absolutely no contradiction between those different levels of my identity. In fact, I don't think any one of them means anything without the other two. And I'm really angry that our country is being overrun by people who are trying to define us in a way that doesn't reflect the true richness of who we are. And I think that that view which is being put about that you know we can only define ourselves in a more insular way needs to be contested much more than it is being contested at the moment. I think we have to remind ourselves of where we come from. You know, actually, it's very hard to build a stable vision of where we want to go to unless we keep on reminding ourselves of where we come from. And as soon as you do that, you see that we have always been at our best when we have been part of a European conversation, self-confidently part of a European conversation. Culturally, historically, socially, politically, our history is utterly intertwined with what's been happening on the other side of the English Channel. So I just think we ought to be much more self-confident in the European dimension of our, if you like, our sort of collective persona. And actually I think, you know, we're agonizing at the moment about the place of Britain in or not in Europe. And we're talking about that as if it's an issue to do with Europe. It's actually not. It's an issue to do with ourselves. And the real problem is that we have at the moment, we're beset by really quite a profound identity crisis about what it means to be British and to an extent what it means to be English. It's very interesting these days to go to Scotland, because in Scotland they're having a proud and self-confident conversation about what it means to be Scottish. And if you come from England into that conversation, it's very conspicuous that we're not having such a conversation south of the border. That's what's missing. That's where we need to renew ourselves. And I think if we did do that, if we found the right way to do it, it would first of all give us a lot more confidence about the future that we face and the extent to which we can actually build a future that's worth having. But it would also ease some of the anxieties that at the moment beset the conversation about our relationship, the correct way of thinking about our relationship with the rest of Europe. For all. If we were to turn our backs politically on the European Union, if we were to have a referendum in 2017 and vote no and therefore leave the EU, that would not be the end of the story, because it would take us to a way of conceiving of ourselves and organising ourselves that would make us less capable than we are as part of the European Union of actually resolving the objective problems that we have facing us. How do we build a prospect for our economy which is capable of offering jobs and growth and competitiveness and a sense of economic well-being? We can't do that in isolation from the rest of our continent, for example. So in the end, that tension would build up, it would become unsustainable, but it would actually be a lot harder to deal with that situation than one in which we manage somehow to rebuild the identity conversation at an earlier stage, so we don't actually have to make the mistake of walking out of a door that doesn't really exist.